So tonight's Dharma Talk is your practice isn't dependent on your conditions. I used to be really proud of my seated meditation practice at home, and that I used to take pride in it, that I sat every morning and would do some sittings at nighttime, that I was really regular at it. And then I found myself either traveling, I really started to notice it when I'd go to mastermind groups or doing the men's work through the Mankind Project, where it was like my practice got put on the shelf while I was traveling. And so as I embarked on this trip again to come back to Finland, I got to approach it differently and felt it differently than I have before in the past. And I have been implementing the meditation wherever I go, not just keeping it at home and in my own little box or on my Zafu and Zabaton, and then like I banked hours over there, so it carried out into my travels or endeavors, from work to relationships to even play. And so as I put seated meditation into my travels, I would sit up in my hotel room and meditate right on my bed, and I still would even keep it in my own little container of starting the day and ending the day. I would, even get up for doing the men's rites of passage work, and I would sit in the morning, and then I'd go out and be with people. And there was a phrase that I caught myself using that I felt like I got disjointed when I would travel. Like I had to reset and begin all over again when I got home. And that there was something that happened to me that caused me to not be in my practice of Zazen. So I say something happened to me, and so externally happened to me, that the conditions chose how I was going to practice or be in practice or in relationship with the practice. And so as I would go to New York about 5 years ago, and I'd go out and be in the city, and I'd be around all these people and the conditions around me, and I'd come back from a full day of coaching or doing mastermind groups, and I would be fully just fragmented, or I even use the term spun out, where the woman that I was staying with in my mastermind group, Helen, she'd be like, will you please go jump in the shower and reground yourself, because you're just like off of the charts, and like, where are you? What's going on with you? And the water would really ground me and bring me back into my practice of being present and aware. I would actually let myself be taken out by my conditions around me. And when I started feeling into this trip, and when I was traveling for here and setting up for bringing Sangha with me on the trip, this first year and a half that I've been doing Sangha, I would say I'm stopping Sangha and when I'm traveling and not take it with me. And so I noticed in preparation for preparing to come and bringing my Raksu and the bell and a Zafu, that as I was preparing and going on my travels with it, I noticed, like in the airport, walking through the airport, that I could feel my old patterns of wanting to step out and get out of my being present and aware and in my practice when other things are happening, going through security and like, oh gosh, they're searching my things, and getting all like protective, where I could really work on being present and aware over and over again in the moment. And I've really got to feel and see the dynamic, just like sitting on the pillow, that there is no difference from sitting on the pillow to day-to-day life, and that I could really feel the tension between my holding on to the practice and then holding on to letting go into this what everyday life would present to me. And so as I was preparing for the talk, I came across a teaching from Dogen called Gyōji. And the term Gyōji is that there is no separation between practice and life, that they are totally intertwined together in practicing in seated meditation, that it's not something that is done here and in this time that we're together or in your morning practice, but yet the willingness to take it with you and be in constant practice in all your relationships and your work, from death to surgeries to, for me, going to the dentist. I mean, it would be like, can I actually integrate, being in a dentist chair and doing my practice, that I am present and aware, and I'm not in a fear state that is trying to push against life and not be a part of life. And so this idea of Gyōji, that I'm willing to bring practice and zazen into my daily life and be consciously aware when I'm doing business, that can I bring the practice of seated meditation into business and do business from this place of zazen or seated meditation, where I'm present and aware at a level that is not about trying to hold being present and aware. It's about coming out of being present and aware and returning back to it over and over again, and being totally at peace with stepping out of it and returning back to it. And that's what I believe Dogen was speaking about, is that this practice of doing it by myself and being in relationship with myself is then when I am in relationship, like with the two of you, that I'm doing it from this place of exiting present and aware and returning back to it. And I got to even see it here on my pillow, that when I was sitting, that I always love when a mosquito or a fly comes buzzing around me, and I'm watching myself track this. It was a mosquito in this moment, and landing on me, and me getting attention towards it, and then returning back to being present. And how much that relates to how I show up in life. And going on these trips or being in relationship with Amber, that I'm going to go through the process of not being present, and can I have the willingness to return to being present? And I watch that dynamic take place. The more that I say, okay, this is a time for me to practice, when we're sitting having a conversation and we're looking for buffalo or rabbits out in the field out here, that it's me being present and aware of all my surroundings and being in relationship, doing business from this place. And when I would go travel, can I return back when I get home in the same honored place, where I'm not drained, where I'm not taken out by the events of traveling, and that I'm just as in this relationship as when I left, as when I return. And I used to see it showed up in the men's rites of passage work. We'd go on these weekends, and I'd come home and I'd be totally drained for the next 4 to 5 days. I would literally check out of being with my family, because I would be disjointed from the weekend, rattling me in a way that I left being present when I got home. So my family got the consequences of me choosing to check out. And then doing business where I'd get home from work and be like, so like, oh my God, the day was just so intense. I remember those days where when I was younger in my practice that I would let the day rattle me or disjoint me so that I would say, oh, it was the day that did it to me, not myself that did it to me. you know. And so now that I've been working with this, even on this trip has been for me and doing this the Sangha, is that I'm in relationship with the practice in life as a day-to-day part of reality and exit and return from being in my thinking to being in my hara, to feeling my emotions and my heart and letting it be cracked wide open to experience all that life has to give. It's such a dynamic life and world for myself to really let myself be in this place of childlike curiosity that I spoke about last week, and feel everything that's going on inside of me in this moment and really take that. And I mean, I feel emotional. I can feel my hara right now. I got goosebumps going through my body. What a joyful place to be in this place of life and the practice of taking that out into life. Gyōji, practice and life simultaneously. And so sitting in day-to-day practice, sitting with yourself, is ultimately the practice of how to live life and to take it with you out into the world and really share it and express it. And what is your expression of Gyōji when you're being in relationship with other people? I find the hardest thing to do that I'm committed to practice and teaching for the rest of my life is how do I express this place that I'm working on coming from and being on a day-to-day basis. And it's not about getting it right, it's about the willingness to return back to this place of being present and aware and feeling. Just to feel that, and it just brings me to emotion, that something that I've ran from for a long time. And Makai, a younger man coming into your own space and who you are, and Ed, me and you deepening our relationship through our practices together, and sitting when we're together and sitting when we're apart, and being committed to return back and do life this way. It takes a lot of bravery and commitment to doing that, and I honor that for each of you, and want to encourage you again to start your day from that place of stillness and silence in order to be deeper in relationship with all your relations, from the ones that are closest to you to the ones you meet in the grocery store that are just a split second of connection, maybe through not even eyesight, but yet passing each other on a grocery store aisle, that something is happening between two people that is undescribable. So I thank you for taking the time tonight and being in this space together. And, I encourage you to go out and do that with everybody that you come into contact with. And Gyōji is that practice of bringing it, practice in life, simultaneously happening all at the same time. Such a dynamic thing to, I just get this big smile on my face of, I'm traveling to Finland and going to Chicago, and I'm not disjointing. I'm staying in this practice the whole entire time. So thank you for being a part of my journey. And I look forward to seeing the ripple effects that go out into the world through all your relations and my relations, and how that impacts by being willing to be present and aware through life. So thank you. Okay, Gyōji. I was just remembering, this is having a dad that is committed to this practice, most of his entire life, and I don't know, I talked about Mushin, no mind, and one of the things that I've kept dear to me is that my dad had a license plate that said Mushin on it. And he didn't really talk about it much, and I didn't really connect to it. And so then as I've grown in my studies to really learn about Mushin, and as I'm sitting here at the end of my talk, I'm like, my dad had a license plate that said Gyōji. It's like he'd like these little unconscious places to put the practice, and share it with people on a license plate. Just custom license plates, Mushin, Gyōji. So practice and life are both the same.